What's up, fam? Look, when the Lord speaks, I have to obey, so I couldn't wait to stop this load so I can give y'all this message fresh off my head, okay? So I had a dream that the Lord was placing a cloak on someone, and the cloak did not look like what the world would say that riches and gold is. It didn't look like it was gold and flashy and diamonds and stuff like that. It didn't look like that. It looked ancient. It looked old and worn. And if I had to describe what it looks like to me, I would think of the word wisdom. That's what it looked like. And it reminded me of this movie called Evan Almighty. I think it was another one called Bruce Almighty too, but I'm specifically talking about Evan Almighty movie. And in the movie, the guy in there, he was struggling with accepting his identity because the Lord had called him. He didn't want to accept the call. He was continuing to live his life, normal, thinking that he can just make it through life and by his own self with, no help of the Lord. He just was out here doing him, basically. But the Lord was steady trying to call him. He was trying to get him to accept his identity as Noah, and he didn't want to accept that identity. The Lord was trying to push every little thing on him to show him that I have called you to be something greater than what you are. I have called you for such a time as this. But he did not want to accept that calling, baby. Do you hear me? But his life started playing. Let me tell you something. When God has chosen you, I don't care how much you try and fight back with what the Lord is saying. He's going to make sure that what he said about your life is going to come to pass, because his word does not come back void. Let me tell you, this man was trying to fight back and forth with the Lord. The Lord was doing all kind of stuff. He was sending him wood and stuff like that to his house so he can get him to understand, I need you to build this ark. Like, you're not listening to me. I need you to accept your calling and do what it is that I have called you to do, because there will be a point in time where I need something to be done, which only you can do, because I've called you for such a thing. But he was not listening, okay? He was not listening. And he sent him a cloak, and the cloak was worn. The cloak was old, baby. The cloak looked like it was ancient. I ain't even gonna lie to you. It looked like he was homeless. That's what it looked like. It looked as if he was homeless. And that's the part that was like in my head, like, baby, you are not going to look like what the world thinks you should look like. Boy, the Lord, the Lord is something serious, boy. Let me tell you, people in the world, they don't have the eyes that the Lord does. They see things from their flesh. They're going to say that you're weird. They're going to say that you're different. They're going to say that you're crazy. But baby, didn't they say that about Jesus? Didn't they talk about Jesus? Didn't they hate on Jesus? Didn't they crucify Jesus? What makes you think that they won't crucify you? What makes you think that they won't talk about you? Baby, when the Lord calls you, baby, you better accept that calling, because it wasn't until Noah, I'm calling him Noah because that's what he was, but it wasn't until Evan accepted his identity. It wasn't until he put that cloak on that the Lord had sent him, that the Lord covered him, that the Lord, he was like, okay, good. You accepted your identity. Now we can move forward. Now we can do what it is that I have called you to do. Baby, I don't care who look at you wrong. I don't care who don't accept your calling. I don't care who say you're crazy. I am crazy, baby. Crazy for the Lord. That's what I am. Look, it wasn't until he put on that cloak and he accepted who God called him to be. He couldn't deny it anymore. It wasn't until then that he started to look like Noah. It wasn't until he put that cloak on and he accepted his identity that his hair started to grow out, that his beard started to grow out. It wasn't until then that the favor that God has on his life started to attract to him. It started to come. Those things Baby, he didn't have to go searching. He didn't have to go looking for these things because the Lord sent it to him. He accepted his identity. So everything that the Lord had for him, it came to him willingly. And because he did the things that the Lord needed him to do, baby, when that time came, because it came, that rain came, baby. When that time came, he was able to protect the things that it was that he was called to protect. That's why it's important for you to accept your calling. Because, baby, this thing is bigger than you. It is bigger than you. You have so many lives that are attached to your calling. Baby, you need to accept your identity. Stop running from it. Because the Lord gonna keep knocking at your door. He gonna keep knocking at your door. Why are you not accepting the calling? Why? You better accept the calling, baby.